All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Daniel Argo, and this is my final project video for EDUA 6380, Special Topics in Educational Technologies, focusing on digital assessment. So for this final project, we were asked to create a blog to kind of recap all the different topics we have talked about, or at least the ones we found most interesting, and how they impacted our current career or job or whatever we're doing right now. So this is just a quick video recap on the blog. So let's go ahead and look at that real quick as well. And so I won't go over much of the perspective, but as we kind of introduce this idea, and as assessments have gone digital over the last couple of decades, there have been quite a few hot topics, such as how do we assess our students, how do we deter online cheating, what kind of data to pull from these assessments, these types of things. And we're going to start out today with looking at the ESSA Act. And initially, when I had began to read about this, I knew about the No Child Left Behind Act. I was familiar with it. I wasn't intimately familiar with it. I had never heard of the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA. And what I found most interesting was that this allowed states to begin to assess in their own manner whatever they found most beneficial to their student population. It opened up for me, it opened up more flexibility, how states, how schools would assess, and how that data would then be provided to the communities, to the parents, to the schools, the results. And more importantly, it allows states to focus on the needs of their student population. You know, how could we assess different students, different populations groups? So, for instance, if you had an urban versus a rural population group, for those who may lack access or have less access, how do we assess those groups? What are the needs of our population of students, and how do we assess those needs versus focusing on how the national assessment process went? States were then given some freedom to assess how they saw best fit their population groups. And then we move on to digital-based assessments, and this is, something that I do pretty much all the time. As a college instructor, I tend to use these almost 100% of the time in my face-to-face classes, in my online classes, in my hybrid classes. I used to separate out computer-based versus your traditional pen and paper, or pencil and paper, pencil and Scantron exams. Over the course of the last couple of years, especially through the pandemic and moving out of the pandemic, I've moved basically 100% online for digital-based assessments. I prefer those. I like having the ability to manipulate and control and randomize and continue to add and edit into my assessments. Whereas the pencil and Scantron based exams required resources of, obviously creating the exam, but printing the exam, handing it out, spending class time giving the exam. For instance, if I give 4 exams over the course of the semester, I am now wasting 4 days of the semester where we could use that for lecture or discussion or activities or whatever we want to use it for in the classroom, rather than just sitting there waiting for an hour, hour and a half while students finish up exams. Then I have to go grade it. They don't get it back till the next day. Where the computer-based or digital assessments allows me to provide an exam, let students take it at their own time or at their own pace, and get results back immediately. Again, I can go through and create large test banks with multiple styles of questions, matching, fill in the blank, true, false, multiple choice, multiple answers, short answer, essay based, all within the same exam or same assessment, and then provide information back to students almost instantaneously, unless I need to go back and grade something. It allows it to be randomized so that students who may get a second chance won't get the same exam twice. They will get different questions, different prompts. So I believe, and I do enjoy the use of digital-based assessments, as it allows much more creativity, flexibility in the assessment process. Standards-based grading I found this very interesting as well because obviously most instructors and the way I grew up in education was really a points-based system. We seat time 48 hours in a semester. You have to meet certain points thresholds to move up from an A to a B to a C to a D or whatever it is, or move down actually, but to move up from a D to a C to a B to an A. As long as you met those thresholds, that's the grade you earned. There was no mention if you actually understood it or you were knowledgeable in the topic. It's just, hey, if you meet these points, you will move forward. With the standards base, we set up an objective. This is the standard. Once you meet that standard, you can move forward. And so there really isn't a points-based system, but it's us allowing students to show mastery or at least a level of mastery of a certain topic or concept before they can move forward. And being able to allow students to show that mastery or a specific level of mastery using whatever form they want. Is it a presentation? Is it a discussion? Is it a exam based? Is it a portfolio? Is it a blog? Is it a video response? Whatever it may be, we allow our students to kind of use their creativity to show how knowledgeable they are in a topic. And I think that's where standards-based grading will succeed, is that we allow students flexibility in how they present what they understand, what they know, versus just having a points-based system. And we move forward onto the online cheating. This is one of the topics that was presented to us over towards the end of the semester. I don't think we'll ever be able to stop online cheating. I think that we'll have to do our best to alleviate it. We'll have to do our best, and we'll add techniques such as time frames, class discussion-based prompts, questions that can't be easily found online. There are different things we can do to create or help alleviate cheating in our online classrooms. Because obviously in a face-to-face class, we are able to monitor, watch over. But as classes moved online and students were in their bedrooms or kitchens or living rooms, at coffee shops, whatever they were taking their exams, they now had access to things like their phones or tablets or their laptops they could use. And so the idea that we're not going to be able to stop it, but we can help alleviate it, is a better approach. And I think one of the best things we can do is create classes and design classes that help or at least encourage students to not cheat. Give them, let them know you can use your resources, but these are the time frames you have. You can use the book, you can use the web, whatever you want to use, but you only have a certain amount of time. Provide clear and concise instructions, directions. Provide test, or practice exams, practice quizzes. Let them know what to expect. Let them understand what's coming up. Reduce stress levels so they don't feel the need to cheat. Now, obviously, some students they'll cheat. That's nothing we really can do about it. They'll find ways to do it. I used Robert Merton's as a sociologist's theory of strain theory or goal attainment theory, that students or people in general, when they can't attain things through traditional means, will find different ways to do it. So students, in my opinion, will find ways if they really want to, but it's our job to at least encourage them to not cheat, or to at least alleviate the opportunities to cheat. And as we kind of move forward, the next thing I focused on was analysis and outcomes. I'll talk about outcomes because it's something I use quite a bit in my own profession. As a program coordinator, we have to develop outcomes and assess those outcomes each semester, and it allows us to find our deficiencies, where we stand or where we don't stand as instructors. Are we teaching the right things? Are we not teaching the right things? Are we not teaching it clear enough? And so having these outcomes as a department, knowing this is what you need to understand before you leave this classroom or leave this department, helps us figure out, are we doing the right things? And getting that constant feedback from students, and it could be through assessments, discussions, exams, whatever it may be, allows us to see our own deficiencies and adjust and to reevaluate how we teach the material. Are we doing it in a way that people can understand or students can understand? Are we doing it in a way that students can't understand? And are they not asking the right questions? So I think outcomes is an important topic, and you see in the blog I put in a sample of one of ours. But for the most part, I think that over the course of the semester, digital assessments or this class has opened up my eyes to some of the different techniques and practices, different ideas behind assessment. And I look forward to learning more about assessments and outcomes. I look forward to learning some of the history of why we assess and some of the theories of why we assess, especially the data-driven stuff we talked about. I didn't mention it in the blog, but it was an interesting topic of using data first, then to drive assessment. So that is my video recap of my blog for EDUA 6380, special topics of digital assessments. Hope you all have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.